Gus, Evvie is in the kennel. As I mentioned in the first video, Evvie's sometimes reactive to new people. And so I wanted to do a video where we kind of talked about dog warning signs, and Gus is going to demonstrate, well, that's not a warning sign. But Gus is going to help me out here with this a little bit. So a couple things. First of all, anything your dog is doing when you pet it is what you're rewarding or reinforcing or amplifying. I just got done kind of asking the Guardians some questions about the day-to-day life, and one of the things the Guardians do is around the 4th of July, Evvie gets really nervous, and so they try to pet her and console her and get her to relax and feel more calm. This is pretty natural for us, especially for mothers. If you have a child that's suffering, you pick it up and sweep it in your arms and rock it back and forth and try to soothe it. For dogs, since anything that they're doing is what you're amplifying, if you pet a dog that's anxious or scared or nervous, you will amplify that unbalanced behavior. So now dogs, as puppies, they can't regulate their body heat. So they often will sleep in a puppy pile to help share warmth. So they do associate touch with affection. So if your dog is anxious or nervous, like with the 4th of July or some other things, you can touch the dog and let her know, I'm here with you. But if you caress her or scratch her or pet her, you're reinforcing that. And each time you do it, it's just slightly more. At the end of doing this, like for the 4th of July, it's like a 3-4 week period where there's fireworks going off. There's a lot of amplification of an unbalanced behavior that's going on if you're petting her like that. So now dogs get over things by literally moving forward. So one of the good things you could do is get her like walking around the backyard or walking around the house while the fireworks are going on. I actually have, we're not near the 4th of July, but I actually usually do this in my column for the paper. Every year I kind of go through a technique of desensitizing dogs with counterconditioning. But the primary purpose for this video is I want to talk over warning signs for dogs. Gus here and Chevy really haven't done much hanging out. She went after him kind of the first day that she came in here. He also had an injury. And so he kind of wasn't able to kind of be at 100%. I think she might have taken advantage of that a little bit. And so because there were some issues, the dogs have really kind of, Gus has kept some distance from her. And one of the Guardians mentioned at one point that she does a lot of staring at him. So that's kind of one of the reasons I want to do this video, is that's the first thing that popped in my mind from what the Guardians were saying. So for dogs, staring is a big challenge. It's a big warning sign. Often it's done with a lowered head and often kind of to the side. So by itself, a stare doesn't always mean something bad, but it's definitely a warning sign. I started looking for combinations of these things, but since staring seems to be something that has precipitated some issues between the dogs, we want to make sure that we don't allow those things to go. For dogs, anything that they're doing when you pet them is what you're reinforcing. Anything that they do in your presence that you don't disagree with, you're giving 2 thumbs up to. So one of the things that she does is tries to, she goes over to when he's, at different times she'll kind of try to engage with him, or will she try to take his stuff?
No, but she'll try to get him to play with her.
Playing is different. So basically, there was just a mention, I can't remember what you said, but one of the Guardians mentioned that sometimes she just stares at him, like when it's food or positions or things like that. So staring could be a warning sign. So we want to recognize that, and especially a long extended stare, and if he's looking away and she continues to look at him, that's kind of inappropriate. So I would disagree with her or redirect her, and I'll give you some tools off camera to do that. Other signs, well, let's talk about signs of stress. If he's licking his lips, that can be a sign of stress. If he's breathing heavy, that can also be a sign of stress. Dogs have something called calming signals. So I guess I'll go through the positive signs first, and then I'll go through the negative ones later. So lifting a leg like this could mean I'm pointing. But it can also be a dog's way of saying please, or in some capacity it's a way of saying, hey, I'm stressed out, or you need to calm down. So if you see him lifting his leg like that, he could be saying I'm stressed, or she needs to calm down. Freezing is a big warning sign. So if you're moving and all of a sudden the dog just stops, then I'm going to look at what both dogs are doing, and I might interrupt, make her move away, make sure that I'm standing between them. That's, you're getting too close. I'm going to freeze to let you know I'm ready to take action. So that's a big warning sign we want to look out for. The hackles, which is along the spine, but right up back here and right up here between their shoulder and hip blades, you'll see the hair go up. That's an involuntary reflex trying to make them look bigger. I see, and I'm skipping back and forth. So let's stick with the positive signs, the calming signals. Yawning, so a lot of times turning the head to the side and yawning is a calming signal. Lifting the paw like that is a calming signal. Digging can be a calming signal. Digging and sniffing can be a calming signal as well. So if you see him doing any of those things, he might be saying, I'm a little bit uncomfortable with the situation, or I'm trying to influence her and get her to relax. Now, again, if you see him breathing heavy, licking his lips, he's constantly turning and looking away from her, that's avoidance. So those are things where we're going to watch from him, and if we see those things, we're going to kind of pay closer attention to the situation. There's a book called Calming Signals by an author named Tura Regas, who's great. It's an easy read, and it talks about calming signals. She knows her dog was able to positively influence behavior of other dogs. Now, the signs that you want to look out for, like I said, the first one is the stare, often with a lowered head. The hackles going up. Does she have a tail? Mm-hmm. Tail going up is kind of alerting. By itself, doesn't mean something bad, but when I start seeing combinations of these things. Let's see, what else we do as I shift so that my legs don't fall asleep. Let me see, breathing heavy or holding the breath is also another big one. So if you start seeing those things from her, and licking the lips would be a sign of stress, it could be from both of them. Then we want to increase distance between them and also evaluate the situation. Sometimes, there's fireworks going on. There's a guy doing a construction jackhammer outside. There's a guy inside burning wires or whatever it is. Those things can add to the situation and make it more stressful for her and put him a little bit more on edge, and that can be one of those precipitators. So we want to just look for these warning signs, and then we want to redirect the dog's attention away from them so that we can stop the fight before it actually happens. So this is a quick video on some warning signs to look for when it comes to dog and dog aggression.